how's everybody doing? It's Paul from Magpie 24/7, back again with another view from the van. It's a bank holiday, but that doesn't stop yours truly getting in the graft. So yeah, hope everybody is okay. It's been a couple of days since that absolute fucking shit show at St James's Park as Steve Bruce's master plan. How can you sum that up? Rolled into fruition, was unveiled. Oh God, what a game of football. That first half especially, but the entire fucking game, let's be honest, was one of the single worst, most boring, frustrating, most fuck me, it balls your piss 90 minutes of football that you're ever likely to see. And yeah, it saddens me how the club have yet again failed to act at the time when it's on its arse. And it also saddens me and pains me that still, transfer deadline day tomorrow, the club is screaming out for more players to be added. And what is Lee Charnley doing? Fuck me, he's probably trying to tie laces on his slip-on shoes. That man is fucking useless. And I suppose it makes a good double act, a good partnership, that the manager of Newcastle United, one Steve Bruce, is also equally as inept, incompetent, stupid, pig-headed, ignorant and tactically unaware. Goodness me, what a partnership these two fucking make. There's certainly no Anton Bastard Deck, that's for certain. And yeah, the weekend's game was fucking shite. I've never seen a Newcastle side who were unable to pass, we were unable to tackle, unable to get anywhere near Southampton. Southampton had, what, 66, 67% of possession at St James's Park. And this, I'm just getting fed up. I mean, you can come up with all the excuses that you want, we're in the big league and all that absolute shit. But, you know, we've been promoted now, what, is it 5 seasons? Yet we're still playing as if it's a conference side against the Champions League winners or something like that. It's pathetic, and we just can't do even the basics. We show no sign of progression, despite the fact Steve Bruce, I need time to put my style up, all this bullshit. And you know, it's his 3rd season, and the man looks under no pressure whatsoever. He's a man who knows that you can have 2 wins in, what, 21 games or whatever it was last season and still be in employment. There's no accountability at all at Newcastle. There's no, well, you know, these are standards, these standards have to be met, we have targets, we want to be able to do this, that and the other. If they're not met, there will be consequences. There's none of that at Newcastle, which is ridiculous, because in any other walk of life he'd have been out of a job. The man is a fucking buffoon. I bet Mrs. Bruce doesn't even give him a fork, because he's that much of a bastard danger to himself. He probably has to fucking feed him when he comes in on a night after another pathetic day. And another day, probably, if he's been on the training pitch, that he's done fuck all, because them lads at the weekend looked like they've never played together. They didn't look interested. They didn't look up for a fight. They had one tactic, and that tactic basically was get the ball, smash your laces through it, get it as far away from our goal as possible, and hope to fucking God that it lands at the feet of Alan St Maximum and let him do some of his magic. And despite the fact that St Maximum scored, and we scored 2 at home, we gave the lead away twice. If we'd have won, it would have been an unjust, it would have been a Steve Bruce lucky pants job, it would have been all of that from last season. But goodness me, you play so shit, and then you come within a moment of actually winning it. But in typical Newcastle fashion, we managed to fuck it up from a position where it should never ever had been. More controversy, another penalty awarded against Newcastle, probably rightfully so, to be honest, when you look back at it. Although there was mass confusion in the ground at the time, there was no announcement about stoppage time, no clocks around the stadium because they're fucked as well, like everything else. Nobody knows what's going on. Then the referee goes to the TV, and of course you knew at that moment, oh, Newcastle to be shafted time, and shafted we were. And as soon as the penalty was awarded, you knew it was going to be a goal and an equaliser. And that's just the way things are going at the moment for Newcastle. But we don't help ourselves because we've got no style of play whatsoever. And even before the penalty, they had about 4 chances to be able to clear the ball, to be able to touch, to take it into the corner, but they failed to do so. And if you are incompetent and stupid enough to do that in the Premier League, you are going to shoot yourself in the foot. So we got what we deserved. We didn't deserve a win. We barely deserved a draw. I thought Southampton were much the better side. They probed away. They looked across the lines, they pushed people on, they were playing a 4-4-2, but at times it was like they had 4 players forward because it was literally a free-for-all in the Newcastle defence. It was pathetic, and at no time did I see Steve Bruce, or any of the coaches for that matter, getting up, screaming, shouting, trying to change things. I thought we might, after the first maybe 10 minutes or so, change and maybe push Fabian Schär up to midfield and to try something else, something different, but we didn't. We persevered with the 5 at the back. Callum Wilson picked up his injury and he went off in the middle of the second half. That's a concern that even in August he's got a recurring injury that he can't seem to shirk and can't seem to get away with. And with no backup, obviously, and no backup on the horizon to be coming in because of our transfer policies at the football club. The club's a mess, totally. Just totally and utterly a mess, you know. And despite going ahead, like I said, through Wilson, then through St. Maximin, we shoot ourselves twice in the foot. And Southampton probably feel pretty pissed that they've only got a point, to be honest. But I said it once, I'll say it again. We've got to be picking up wins at home against the people who are going to be there or thereabouts in the bottom half of the table, of which I think Southampton will be one of them. This can't keep going on. We can't keep doing this to ourselves. We can't keep giving away penalties. We can't keep being stupid and making stupid, terrible decisions and not thinking cleverly about the situation and game management. We've got to give up with this reliance on one formation, come what may, one size fits all. It does not fit all. And I would have liked to have seen a change of formation, maybe back to the 4 at the back, the 2 midfielders, the 3 behind the 1 up top, or something like that. Just something, anything, just to try different variations and combinations, and to also get players maybe trying to play in their correct positions. And I'm talking about the likes of Miguel Almiron, who I thought had a decent game. He was at least trying when everybody else around him was just fucking sitting there, fucking da. He was busting the gut to try and turn things round and try and have a positive influence in the game. But too many players are out of position for my likings. You've got Sean Longstaff too deep, Miguel Almiron playing too deep. You've got wingers playing wing backs. You've got centre backs who are all over the shop. You could get buses beside some of them, and leadership wise, I'm not seeing it. And the striking department isn't being fed adequately enough. We're not getting balls down the side. We're not whipping crosses in. So there are issues all over the park, and it frustrates me so that I can see that, you can see that, everybody can see that, yet the people who need to be able to see it either see it and don't act, or don't see it at all. Maybe it's a situation where Steve Bruce has got needs his fucking cataract operation or something like that, because it's just like it's as obvious to everybody else inside the stadium, and I've heard critique about, well, Newcastle fans attacking him after 3 games, shouting Brucey out. This isn't just based on 2 or 3 games. This is based upon the previous seasons, the football, the excuses, the attacks on fans, the fucking arse kissing to the establishment and the status quo. They're not wanting to rock the boat. They're not wanting the best for the club, underselling the club, belittling the club, bigging everybody else up. It's being best mates with somebody when they've just defeated you. It's all of these things and much, much more. The Newcastle fans, personally, I think, have just had enough. Factor in also onto that all the takeover, the lack of communication, etc, etc, etc. And like I say, fans have had a fucking enough, and the powers that be need to start realising this and putting some things into place to try and pacify, to try and please, to try and show the club that there is hope, that it isn't just a relegation battle between now and the end of the season after going out of the fucking League Cup to Burnley. Yes, fucking Burnley, with the greatest of respect. And it's just so frustrating. So frustrating. Being a Newcastle United supporter with just no hope. I've no hope. You know, it took me 4 hours to get up to the match at the weekend. 2 hours to trips back down. A couple of 100-mile round trip. And it's like, it's just the social, it's more and more the social side, the meeting with Carl, the having a few laughs, the singing the songs, and this, that and the other. And I met somebody in the petrol station when I was filling up before I came up, and he was like, oh, I like your colours. We got talking about the football. It was like, right, safe journey up, but it was like, he even said, well, it's more in hope than expectation, and it shouldn't be like that. You know, we have gone from, we used to like expect results against certain teams to, well, we'll hope because we've got, you know, X, Y and Z players in, we've got some game changers, to now it's just like shrug your shoulders and you just go through it and you just get the piss taken out of you by, I mean, round here I get piss taken by Sheffield Wednesday supporters, Sheffield United supporters, Rotherham supporters, Donny supporters, Barnsley supporters, and it's just like you can't really, you just got to take it. You've got to take it, because it's like, yeah, we're between ourselves and Arsenal, we are banter FC. We are banter FC. We've got an owner who's put the keys in the envelope, doesn't want anything to do with the club whatsoever, despite the fact his wealth's grown £850 million over the last year, despite the fact that he's trying to wind down, as it were, and put into place a semi-retirement, you know, moving to Miami and this, that and the other. He's like, he hasn't got a care in the world. He doesn't give two flying fucks about Newcastle. They're just another line on his financial accounting. That is it. Meanwhile, we're scratching around to be able to bring Joe Willock back in on a Poundland Bright House special. How is that right at Newcastle? Yet there's teams like Brentford, Norwich, Watford outspending us, showing more ambition than us. And it's not all about the mega deals and the bringing in your Ronaldos or anything else like that, but it's just like making common sense decisions, like a I don't know, a Jethro Williams. You know, or like bringing a Rondon in, or seeing Sissoko's going for a couple of £1 million and knowing how short and desperate we are for quality in the middle of the park. Bringing in him, can we do it on a loan? Can we bring him in for a couple of £1 million? Would he improve us? Is he better than what we've got? Of course. It's just common sense, simple decisions like that are just failed to be made, and it's just so maddening. And we stick with the players that we've had this season after season after season. So yeah, you're looking at the team, it needs a major refresh. Kieran Clark, I'll use Kieran Clark as an example. You know, he's been a fantastic servant for the club, adds balance to the back, this, that and the other. Came in for not much, has done a fantastic job, but where's the constant, well, let's move somebody on, one of the aging defence on, and bring in the next generation? It's like what we did with Jamal Lascelles and Carl Darlow back in the day. Bring the next generation through and push somebody else through and push somebody else in who's a bit younger. It just doesn't make sense to me whatsoever why we just, you know, handing out new contracts to Dwight Gill to sit on the bench and not even be an option when we are desperate for a goal, when we are struggling for a goal. You know, Dwight Gill was fantastic in the Championship. His Newcastle career was finished, you'd arguably say, when we swapped him for Rondon. Why would we swap him for Rondon if he was of any use to us going forward? You know, again, where is the churn of bringing through a regular amount of players? And I know COVID and finance, I'm not stupid. The club treats you like you're stupid, but it should still be, and all the other Premier League clubs are still recycling and regurgitating through. We're sitting here with just over a day and a bit left to go, and we haven't even used up the 2 domestic loan options that we've got at the club. The club saved over £200,000 since last season on wages with the players who've gone out. Yes, Willock will have used some of that up, but not all of it up. So why aren't we utilising every penny spare at the club to be able to equip us, and not even equip us for a top half or a European push or anything else like that? It's purely at the moment just to stay in. Yes, we finished 12th last season, but we could have easily finished 17th, and that is until the last weekend or two we flirted with relegation all of the time. It was a relegation battle last season. Let nobody tell you any different, and it is going to be a relegation battle, in my opinion, this season as well. Where we are at the moment, 4th bottom. Mike Ashley's probably over the moon. What are they on about? We're 4th bottom, we're going to be staying up. But come on, after 5 years, surely we should be entitled to ask for or expect a little bit better than this. Why are we scrapping and unable to compete with Watford and Brentford, with the greatest of respect to both of them clubs? You know, it's Newcastle. It's Newcastle. You see the size of the stadium, and he's a little one. Like, even at the weekend, I'm sitting there banging the advertised Hordens, singing and trying to encourage the lads on as much as possible. The Hordens are literally crumbling. Carl's like, look at the mess you've just caused underneath there. All the wood rotting away. You see pictures of the stadium with the roof. It's disgusting. The stadium's falling to bits. The signs and the concourses, the little TVs. You see pictures of corporate areas where fridges are broken, and it just tells a story about the club. The club is unloved. It's uncared for. It needs TLC. You've got willing buyers there who want to come in, and then you've got the Premier League with Gary Hoffman and everything that's going on with him stopping the takeover, and Mike Ashley using it as an excuse not to invest. He is still the current custodian, so I think the onus is on him, even if he has to put some of his own money in, because this mess has been caused by him. He could have sold to the lot who tried to buy Manchester City. He chose not to. He put managers in place. He made decisions on recruitment and spending. We went down twice. That's on him. The debt associated with the club, that's on him and his decisions. Yet all he says is, I want my money back. I'm not putting more money into there. It's maddening. I'm beyond anger. I could rage. I could kick off. It really hurts. It really, really, really hurts to be a Newcastle supporter. And when you got an international break, as we do now, it's a case of, oh, fuck, they're not going to ruin a weekend. But fuck me, we've got Manchester United away next weekend and Cristiano Ronaldo, next time out. And you're like, oh, God, this could be anything. This could literally be anything. And we shouldn't, as a club, be like that. I'm telling you now, if Brentford doesn't go to Old Trafford thinking this is going to be a cricket score, but we do. And it's ridiculous. And that is why, I don't know if you've seen the video that Carl's put up recently, but we've decided to put the podcast to a monthly podcast, the Magpie 24/7 podcast, going to monthly for the time being, because it is just too much samey. It's defeat after defeat after defeat. It's inept tactics. It's the same frustrations all of the time. No answers from the club. The club doesn't speak to its customers, as it likes to call us. So there's no answers. There's no way to move the agenda and everything else forward. So we just have this situation that it is just negative after negative after negative. So moving forward, a monthly podcast for the time being, but then we'll still have a weekly preview. First thoughts with Kyle after the game. I'll be doing the preview. And then we'll still be doing the view from the fans. There's still going to be lots of content out there. We just feel for the longer our podcast that we do every single week, how many much different ways can you explain the same things because of the same people and the same stupid mistakes and the same stupid limitations every fucking week, so hopefully things get sorted round better and the club starts moving in a positive direction shortly, and we're able to up the podcast and this, that and the other, because we really enjoy doing the podcast, but we don't want it to become too samey. We don't want the quality to drop. We don't want to shorten it up. or anything else like that. We wanted to keep it in its format, and we just feel that over a month there should be positives, negatives, and discussion points to be able to talk about. Clearly, if there's something major happening, like a takeover for Heaven Help, we'd obviously do one straight away. So it's still got the finger on the record button. There'll still be the regular updates across all the social media, just as normal. News, views, opinions, transfers, banter, Mac and piss taking, and all that sort of thing. That'll still be there across Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as normal. But it's just the regularity of the longer format podcast go to monthly rather than weekly or twice weekly as it is at the moment. So I hope you understand the reasons for that, and we'll see how that goes. We'll see how that works. For us, I think we'll still be doing like specials and stuff like that, videos where we meet up before the games and maybe discuss, I don't know, maybe a sign. That would be nice, wouldn't it? A fucking signing would be nice. But of course we've got no money. Please, sir, can we have some more? It's fucking ridiculous, isn't it? Anyway, I want to get back to work. Time is money and all that sort of thing, especially on bank holiday. I want to get finished back home, to be honest. But anyway, in the meantime, take care, keep it tuned, and I'll speak to you later.